This production comes to you in association with the Bluebell Warrington. Situated in an 18th century building in the town centre and just a 5-minute walk from the HJ Stadium, the Bluebell is the perfect destination for pre- and post-game food and drink. The 2024 Warrington Pub of the Year is now the official home of Super League Raw on Warrington Wolves match days for both home and away supporters. Super League Raw are delighted to have agreed a members-only area, allowing our community to come together to discuss rugby league pre- and post-match. So set your course to the Bluebell Warrington on match days and beyond. You are sure to be greeted with a warm welcome and a cold beer. Super League Raw and the Bluebell, the perfect partnership in enhancing your match day experience. Well, good evening. What a palaver. Oh dear. When a streaming platform decides to change how it looks and how it works. But anyway, that's by the way. We managed to get there just about in time. Good evening to Greg. Good evening to Steph. How are you, boys?
Good evening. Very well, sir. Thank you.
Good evening. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Yes, it wouldn't be the same without a bit of Super League Raw now, would it? Just making sure that there's no glitches. We are live on Facebook. I'm just going to make sure that we are live on YouTube.
Dawn's asking, has a screen frozen? I don't know, Dawn. I can't see it from here.
No, I can't see it either. What's going on? Let's have a look. No, we are live. We are live. I think if you're on YouTube, Dawn, you've got to press it, but no, it looks live. I say that was bizarre. They've obviously changed the platform this week, and it's caught me right on the back foot. Anyway, that's by the by. We're starting to sound like other podcasts. We don't want to be like that, do we? Right, don't forget your job, the early risers, the ones that are in early doors, to like, comment, and subscribe. And a big hello must go to both Ian and to Craig Forth, who I believe are on a ferry to Amsterdam wearing Super League Raw merch.
Fantastic effort.
They won't be wearing it for long once they get to Amsterdam, I don't think.
Very good.
Already.
He's Dawn sorted herself out. Be nice to think that she has done in there. Okay, so let's start the chat whilst we're getting ourselves right. Greg, it has been launched, the new Warrington Wolves kit. Your thoughts on these ones, mate?
Absolutely love the lilac and purple one. Love it. Absolutely brilliant. I went to the ground yesterday. They did the inclusive launch of the kit with the women's team. PDRL, LDRL and wheelchair players there as well. And when you see it actually up close, when you see the players wearing that lilac kit, it's an absolute winner. It really is. Yeah. The home one, much as I expected. But the away kit is something else when you actually see it in the flesh. In my humble opinion, it looks absolutely brilliant.
Okay, well, before we get Steph's view on the Warrington shirt, a big congratulations to Billy Ingram, one of our members, got his letter posted in League Express this week. Well done, Billy. Talking about perhaps it'd be a good idea to talk the game up. Nothing like a bit of controversy, Billy, on the pages of League Express. Good lad. Well done. Outstanding effort. Steph, your thoughts on the Warrington jerseys, mate?
Yeah, I'm with Reggie. I really like the purple one. I think it's a really good kit. The home one, I'm not so sure on as much. I've got it in my head. It looks like they're wearing a blue bikini top, and I can't.
I didn't want to say that. I didn't really want to say
that. That's the only bit for me. But I don't think as a Leaf fan, I don't think I'm qualified to talk about kits, am I? So
well, not after your home reveal, no. No. But that said, though, it is getting better with every
sponsors. Yeah, I did say that had happened, didn't I? I said once the sponsor on it looked different, but it's one of those. But yeah, that bikini thing, once you see it, you can't unsee it.
I think what makes it a nice top is the fact that Hoover have changed their logo, and the big target is now gone on the front of the shirts. Was that you opening a beer, Dave?
That is me opening a beer, sir. It wouldn't be right to not have a beverage on a Tuesday. Marvellous. All the very best to everybody who is watching and everybody who is listening. Good evening to one and all. Yes, right, let's get on to some other topics. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, comment, get in the chat. Hello and good evening. Let's give a few shout-outs early doors to who is in the chat. We have got Mark Hill, Rebecca Frey, Dawn Baker. Dawn Baker saying the screen's frozen. Don't know why. You've got to press it, Dawn, I think. Salford will win a trophy in the next 3 years, says Ben. That's interesting. Who else have we got? Dawn Kirby's with us now. John Costello's in. Anthony Cox is in. Rebecca's in. Ian Judson's in. LFC will win silverware before OKR. And then Ian woke up. Peter Gordon.
Ian, stay off the sherry.
Yeah, absolutely. Tom Mackay, he's with us as well. Bazza Kingston. Oh, yeah, they're all coming in. Aiden Simpson. He wants to score Harry Newman. We could get to that. Maybe repost that a bit later in the show. New South Wales, good man. Yeah. Andy Tankard. Oh, outstanding. We're going international this evening. Absolutely wonderful. Make sure you utilise the chat, get involved. We're going to be...
Only that, Dave. He's living in the home of the great Sir
Leslie Boyd, absolutely, yes.
Leslie Boyd.
Absolutely. Good evening, Carrie Ann, as well, in the chat as well. Welcome, everybody. Get in the chat as we discuss. We've got something a bit interesting for you a little bit later in the show. But let's start. Craig Forth, Stag Do, still tuned into weekly on the very well done to Craig Forth. Right, okay. Breaking news this week on the rumour bill. We don't, obviously, at the moment, not substantiated, but a lot of rumours circulating Bevan French to the NRL, gentlemen. This doesn't come as a surprise, especially with his heroics this year. And let's be fair, what Nathan Cleary said at the end, before the grand final. Do we expect him to go, Greg?
No, I don't think so. Not this season. I think maybe next season. He might be more difficult to hold on to, especially if he plays well this season or the season coming. I don't think he'll go this season. Maybe I think there's a bit of mischief being caused somewhere along the line. But I know a few Wigan fans are a little bit worried.
Well, I mean, there's no doubt about it, Steph. He is NRL quality, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%. You know, we can't talk him up enough on this programme, as the majority of the league does. However, every player's got a price. And if the NRL comes knocking and they pay the right money, you know, and there are other Bevan Frenches out there as well. You know, there's some great young talent in Australia that, you know, it's a kind of rinse and repeat cycle with some of these players. And, you know, if we got a massive transfer fee for him, because obviously he's got a big contract, and it frees up a hell of a lot of cap space as well for Wigan. You know, I don't necessarily see it as a you know, disaster. And, you know, the squad they've got, they could, I think they could still take, well, as they proved when they lost him for a bit of this season as well, they still were winning the games, weren't they? So,
yeah. And I think that's good counsel, isn't it, Greg? In the fact that he was missing for quite a long period there, and they held their own, didn't they, during that time? They weren't as good. Let's not beat about the bush. They did lack a bit of potency, but
I think when they lost French and Field was when they struggled a little bit this season. But yeah, and you know, as you know, as Steph says, I can't personally see him going, but and Warrington have already fought off quite a major bid for Danny Walker this season. So I'd expect Wigan to fight it all the way. But like you say, if the price is right, who knows? I just don't see it this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
I mean, he could be 100% wrong, and he could be there by this time next week.
Well, it's something for the Wigan fans to be a little bit concerned about between now and the kickoff of the new season.
Definitely.
It's going to be interesting to see how that one rolls. It's that time of the show again. Hello to our young Leon. Leon's with us yet again. Leon, sir, good evening to you, one of our younger members. Not members, sorry. One day maybe Danielle. I think she's trying to become a member. And if you want to become a member, then you need to just do that QR code or go to Patreon. More details on that a little bit later on. But hello to Leon and hello to Danielle. Great.
Can I just ask, is that the Paul Cook in the chat? Or...
Oh, that'd be interesting. Have we got a Paul Cook in the chat?
Yeah, with a hook.
Is that the Paul?
Is that
Cook?
the Paul Cook?
Well, could be. We're big in Humberside. There you go. If we can lose Bevan French, here we go. Ian Judson's off and running. They will just roll out Jack Fairmond and turn him into a superstar. I couldn't agree with you more. I think Jack has got a lot of quality about him. He's not Bevan, nowhere near. But you're right, they have got a replacement of quality should that actually happen.
And you know that Ian, that is a good point. Maybe a season too early for Jack Fireman, but
Well, there's few rumours that with Lean potentially needing a halfback, they may ask for Ferryman on loan.
Well, that'd be a great bit of business. I mean, and that's good for Wigan because I think Wigan see him as a long-term replacement in the halves. You know, yes, okay, he'll be playing for you for one of their closest rivals, but it gets him game time. I think for Ferryman to really step, he needs to be playing Super League standard week in, week out, doesn't he? And that is what that would be, wouldn't it?
Definitely. You know, we've seen it so many times with these, like, you know, even when they go into Championship and come back, how much better players they are. Ferryman is obviously going to be, you know, second fiddle there with the players that Wigan have got. He needs to go out somewhere and be a starter for me. And we're a better place than the Leopards.
Spot on, absolutely spot on. Super League on a Tuesday, and it's in the off season. It can only be one place. It's Super League Raw. Somebody's already done the QR code. Absolutely outstanding. Maybe we'll get more members as the night goes on. We always like to welcome a new member live during the show. A couple of people asking what, you know, money talks, guys. What would the right money be for Bevan French? Obviously, he's got a few more seasons left in him. What would we say? I mean, are we talking what, 300 grand, 400 grand? Where would you put him? $500,000?
What, to get him out of his Wigan contract?
Get him out of the contract, yeah.
I think they'd need to pay $1 million.
Do you think that much?
To get him out of the Wigan contract, it's a big deal, isn't it? How long? Yeah. I think he's on about 400 grand a year, I believe, something like that, maybe a bit more. And I think he's got 3 seasons left, has it, on that deal?
Yeah.
So
$1 million.
So I think they're going to have to pay a big transfer fee to get him to think it, because there will be no NRL clause in Bevan French's contract when they're paying him that kind of money.
Yeah.
So it would have to be in that kind of, and I think he's worth that kind of money. Like I keep saying it, and I'll bang on it all the time about he's the only genuine superstar in Super League, and he's worth £1 million transfer fee.
Yeah, absolutely. Good evening to Paul Borman, just joined us. Hello to him. Alan Clegg's there as well. Some really good, great to see so many numbers in the off-season coming in. Keep with us all evening. We've got some really good stuff coming your way this evening. Stephen Cram, I think he might be a Wakefield Trinity fan. We got our first Wakefield Trinity member last week, and he's a part of the Mastermind quiz. More on that a little bit later on as well. But yes, Stephen Crown, good evening to you. Asking about Wakey. We will be talking Wakey, maybe tonight, maybe next week. Just keep tuned. We will get into Wakefield Trinity between now and the kickoff of the new season. Right, another name that I think as perhaps would be easier to prize away from Super League. Brodie Croft has been mentioned as well in the NRL press this week. This one, perhaps, possibly more likely, would you say, Greg? Brodie Croft, if somebody came in for him?
I think, yeah, more likely than Wigan letting Bevan French go, unless, as Steph says, the right money comes in. Yeah, I think this one is probably more than likely. I'm not sure what contract he's on at Leeds. But I think of the two, I would be less surprised if Brodie Croft was in the NRL next season.
Yeah,
than Bevan French. And maybe a decent transfer fee for Brodie Croft. I think he's still contracted, isn't he, to Leeds for a
couple of years,
2 years, maybe. I think Leeds would let him go for the right price if one was to be put up there.
I think it's one of them where perhaps because Brodie didn't have, to his standards, the best of seasons last year. If somebody came in, unlike French, who's very happy at Wigan, he's winning trophies, he's on a good contract. Brodie's a bit of a different story, isn't it? In terms of he's at a club that's going through a transition. They didn't play great rugby league last year, and if the price was right, could go.
Yeah, definitely.
Your thoughts on that, Steph?
Sorry, I was just pouring some wine.
I think
can't do more than two things at once.
I think Crofts probably means more to Leeds at the minute, I would say. If you think about halfbacks, they've got him and Frawley, haven't they? I don't think they've signed another halfback yet, have they?
Not to my knowledge, no.
So if they lost Croft this late in the season, I think that'd be massive. Where are they going to get a halfback from at this time?
There's not a lot to go around. I mean, and that's why halfbacks at the moment are the ones that the NRL are trying to price, because even they've got a shortage.
That's it, yeah.
Halfbacks, haven't they?
That's it. And the NRL, there's a few clubs this is why I think the Bevan French thing, although I don't think it will happen, I do think there's a reasonable possibility it could, just because of how many NRL clubs are in desperate need of quality halfbacks.
Good to see Leon Hayes rolled out for the Warrington kit reveal at Bonfire Night. Well, I know that's tonight, but they had their fireworks they play on Saturday. Leon in really, really good fettle on the pitch. A lot of people's questioning Leon Hayes at 7, and yet 6, 7, 8 games in last season, everybody's saying, what a wonder kid this is. And yeah, all right, he's had a bad injury there, but he's young. He looked very, very confident on the field. That's a big, big bonus for Warrington. Leon Hayes coming in, and in the same way that we've really championed a lot of new youthful players coming through, it would be great for British Rugby League if we produced another halfback that maybe in 4 or 5 years the Australians will be looking at fearful of in an Ashes or something like that, because he's certainly got the capability, hasn't he?
Without a doubt. I don't doubt him at all at the number 7 shirt. And apparently he's going to be fighting fit for the start of the season as well. So, we've got Ollie Leyland as backup. So I have no doubts. I've got not a single question mark over Leon Hayes owning that number 7 shirt next season, barring injury. Let's hope he's had his one bad injury that every player looks to avoid, and he kicks on, because if nothing else, he may drink water up his game and actually become something of a player towards the back end of the season. So, I've got absolutely no doubt that, stay injury free, he'll be one of the stars of Super League next season. Well, and I know before anybody says it, I know I'm biased, but he is going to be one of the stars of Super League if he stays injury free and he's allowed to do what he does best.
Well, I mean, what was good at the launch was like that Lindop was there. He was one of the players that they featured at the launch as well. And I think of all of the kids that are coming through at Warrington, Lindop heads the queue in terms of excitement going into the new year. Obviously, Kai Taylor we've seen as well. So, look, we'll get into all of that as the new season comes. But good to see Leon Hayes back for Warrington at that launch and looking in, like I say, in good fettle. Ian Judson back in the chat before we get to Ian Shelley Wagstaff. Would love to see Brody at Wigan, but that ship has sailed. More importantly, Shelley, welcome to Super League Raw. We hope you have a really good evening with us. Ian Judson back in the chat. All FC looking to offload Jack Walker, Liam Tyndall, and Morgan Smith. Absolutely, there's going to be a lot. Let's be fair, the kids are taking up a lot of bench spots next year, Ian. So they've got to create space somewhere, my friend, haven't they? He's one of those. He says
they're under 40. They're far too young for Hull.
Far too. Here we go. Slurpy Day, pubs, beers and jokes. Evening from the Isle of Man. Salford Red Devil Supporters Club. Good evening to you guys. Thank you very much indeed for tuning in. Suzanne Lee. Yep, she knows where Fairman comes from. He does indeed come from Lee. And David Wakenshaw Walker was quality and still has his moments, but injuries have wrecked his career. I couldn't agree with more. Last year, Jack Walker, certainly before his injury, and then at the back end when he came back again for that second stint, Jack Walker played tidy rugby league, didn't he, Steph, for Hull FC last year?
He did, and he did at KR as well, when he was there, which got him, I think, the deal at FC. I was a bit surprised KR let him go at the time because he was playing that well. But yeah, he has been one of those that's been unfortunate, a bit like Tom Johnson, players like that who are, quality players but suffered so badly with injuries. That's the sport, isn't it?
It is the sport. It is indeed. In terms of news stories, pretty quiet. A lot of international. That's going to die down now. There's not an awful lot out there. Have anything caught your eye this week, lads?
Sorry, Steph, go on. You go first, mate.
There's some rumours about Will Price potentially coming to Lee as well, which is I can't see that myself, but
it's possible, mate. I mean, as much as he had that great debut, has he been utilised as much? I think, some of these players that go down into us, some will stick it out and have a go. Others, homesickness, they want to be playing rugby league. It must be a lonely play. I mean, don't know, lifestyle's fantastic, but if you're on the fringes in Australia, and I can like Will Price went over there thinking he was going to compete for first team rugby league. He's not really competing for first team rugby league. He's on the fringes. He's away from home. That's got to be challenging for a young lad, hasn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And like you said, some adapt to it. Look at Morgan Smithies and players like that who've gone really well. he's in a difficult position. I think the forwards tend to adapt better to NRL unless you're exceptional. I think it's a bit of a rule at the moment with English players tend to do well in the forward roles rather than the backs.
Yeah, spot on.
Yeah, no, it'd be interesting. It will be interesting to see what happens. Joe Dalgreen in the chat. Good evening to Joe. Yes, Joe, you are in the mastermind quiz, ladies and gentlemen. You're not a member, you might not know what all this is about, but the members got the video yesterday. We have done the draw for the leagues, and they commence from the 10th of November, this going to Sunday onwards, with the final being on Super League Raw Weekly on the 11th of February, the week before the start of the new season. We're going to find out who the mastermind champion 24-25 is from the Super League Raw community. We will post a couple of matches on our social media channels for you, and every member will be able to see every match because we will post it into our exclusive members only area on YouTube. So you'll get to see absolutely everything that goes on. That way nobody can say any bias took place or there were any underhand tactics. No Donald Trump here at Super League Raw. Everything's done above board. Yes, there's nothing at all. What's up, Greg?
All the presidential candidates are available.
No, certainly, absolutely. I wouldn't disagree with that.
Make Super League Raw great again.
Absolutely. It doesn't need to be much greater, does it? Outstanding. Anyway, there you go.
I was just going to say that IMG have ruled out expanding Super League for at least another 2 years as well, or appear to have done. And then the question will be asked after that, apparently, about expanding it to 14 or to 16, which for me can't come soon enough, but it's a case of, can they get the right TV deal that means more money is shared out between the teams? That's what it depends on, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. A big appeal as well to the members. You need to help me. You've got the video to watch all the time. You need to be available on those dates because otherwise the whole thing is going to be, it's going to be very, very difficult. I need your help to make that happen. We're going to have some great fun. It shouldn't take long. It's probably only going to be about an hour for each evening. It will go at a bit of a pace, but do help me with that. We want to get the right mastermind champion. We don't want buys. We don't want people forfeiting. That just wouldn't be in this spirit now, would it? There's some great questions in the chat. Please do post them again. For example, Christopher Ashton later. Post that one a little bit later because we've got to get through a few bits and pieces. We always do Q&A at the end. So just copy that. And later on when we ask for questions, just post it, paste it in, post it again, and we will get to it. Right, before we get to a little bit of a debate that we're going to ask you to get involved in tonight, Super League Raw Weekly on a Tuesday night with Rugby League. What we're going to do, well, you're going to see tonight, we're going to have a great bit of fun, a great bit of sport. We want your involvement in it as well. But before we get to that, you can see there on the screen, Mark Hill saying about the membership. We have to look, this is what's going to make Super League Raw bigger and better. We're giving prizes out all the time. And of course, we are announcing a prize this evening. Of course, that prize being 2 tickets to join the Super League Raw team at Live with Kevin Sinfield next Wednesday, the 13th of November at the Par Hall. We'll be doing that a little bit later in the show, but basically, let's just what we're going to do. First things first. If you're thinking of becoming a member, what I've got to do, and I'm sorry for anybody who might be watching who doesn't like this part, mentioning no name. But if you are considering becoming a member, there is a QR code there at the top. You can go and have a look at the different packages. For less than a latte, you can be a member here at Super League Raw. Brilliant community, outstanding. You go to patreon.com/Super League Raw. Do not join on a iPhone app. Go via the web, go via Android. The reason for that, believe it or not, Apple charge an additional 30%. I want you to save your money. I don't want you to be paying 30% on top. So go through the web and go through Android. Do not buy it on the Apple app because you will be charged 30% more and it's a waste of time when you can get it cheaper. We don't want that. You can also get 12 months of the price of 11 if you join on an annual membership at any level. So just bear that in mind. Now, look, it's a little bit crass me always talking about why you should join the membership. So this week we had a Super League Raw's Final Whistle podcast where Team Talk members get the opportunity of being a part of the show. And I asked Craig Forth what's he enjoyed about being a member this year. This is what he said.
It's meant a lot. Obviously, everyone in the group is fantastic. It's brilliant to talk to. I love coming on doing Final Whistle. It's brilliant just to come and talk to people about rugby. It's just fantastic to know that everyone's there. Everyone's so friendly. You can just talk to anybody. It doesn't have to be about rugby, about anything. I will stand by it. It's one of the best decisions I ever made was becoming a member. Again, I just found Super League Raw by chance, just looking for a podcast on rugby league, found it, listened to it, and just went from there. Just thought it was absolutely brilliant. It's probably got me more into rugby. Before I was just zoned in on Wigan and just focused on Wigan. Now, when everybody's talking about Warrington, talking about Hull Castle, and then suddenly starts to broaden my horizons, then I start looking up all these other teams and I pay attention more to what's going on. And yeah, I've just really enjoyed it. Wanting to watch more games rather than saying, "Oh, so and so's playing, I'll stick it on for the sake of it." I'm actually wanting to watch more, and it's just been fantastic. And say everyone here, and just like to pass on my thanks to yourself, to Steph, to Reggie, to Joel, for all the hard work that you put in. I think it's absolutely fantastic. It really is appreciated by all the members. You're just doing a fantastic job, and it's a fantastic community that you're building. And I would say to anybody else that's watching or thinking about it, do it. If you certainly think about it, join, become a member. It is absolutely brilliant. And I've got a friend that I managed to become a member, and he's joined up, and he thinks it's absolutely fantastic as well. And it's just brilliant. And we just say, for everybody that enjoys the rugby league, just join up, and like say, you can engage in conversations with these fine people.
Heartwarming stuff there by Mr. Forth as he set sail for Amsterdam. Good effort.
Bon voyage, Craig. Bon voyage.
Bon voyage. And yes, bottom line is really, really pleased. Really, really pleased for Craig saying that. Really heartwarming stuff. Right, okay. So there's the details on the screen later on in the show. Surprised we didn't have more entries that weren't members. I have to say people didn't follow the rules. I said, follow the rules, you get an opportunity. If you don't follow the rules, you can. Do apologise with that. And, thank you to the members. A lot of members said they couldn't make it, so they're not in the draw, which gives, obviously, those who can make it more of a chance of actually going. So thank you for the members who, on this occasion, said, thank you very much, Dave, for having this as a competition, but on this occasion, we can't do it. So later on in the show, an evening with Kevin Sinfield, we will be announcing who that winner is in our usual fashion with the Wheel of Fortune wheel. We'll see who wins that a little bit later on. And finally, gentlemen, it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow. Tomorrow, the number one gift for under the Christmas tree will be launched. Oh, yes, it's the biggest stocking filler known to man. It's going to be coming tomorrow. The official launch is tomorrow. Super League Superstars. That's right. Based on Top Trumps, there's going to be different ways of playing with these cards. And as you can see there, each deck is a 32 playing card set. They're compiled with accurate 2024 statistics. A fun fact for each Super League player that were featured, only £9 plus £3 postage package if you want one set. But if you want all three, and that means that you will have 96 players to play with. So if you've got a big family, all of these are interchangeable, all of them. So basically, if you get all three, you're playing with 96 cards. What a fantastic thing to do on Christmas Day around the table. Oh, play a little bit of Super League Superstars. Absolutely outstanding. They will be going out tomorrow. Do you fancy them? Make sure you get in touch with us if you do. They will be launched tomorrow officially. Fantastic stuff. Oh, yeah. Nobody does that. Nobody's doing that. We're doing it here at Super League Raw. We're making sure that your Christmas Day isn't just the stupid plastic moustaches and, a little bit of a cracker here, a cracker there. Oh, no. Get your cards out, ladies and gentlemen. Have a game of this one. This will keep you very much entertained for at least an hour around the Christmas table. Just make sure you don't spill any red wine on them. Outstanding stuff. Of course, we want you to play with them time and time again. So they're going to get launched tomorrow. Look well, don't they, boys? They look well.
They do. What's wrong with plastic moustaches, Dave?
Nothing wrong at all, but they're just not as good on a table as Super League Superstars.
Christmas Day until you got a bit of plastic dangling off your nose.
Super League Superstars, outstanding. Mark Timms, they are mint. Mark says they're mint, but how many Salford players will feature? Well, you'll have to. Well, the bottom line is the top 32 cards. The teams that finished in the top 6 get 3 players per pack. So to answer your question, we're going to be featuring 9 Salford players in there because they finished in the top 6. The further down you go, the less they get. We've got 2 London players that feature. And then, of course, the lower teams, either 2 or 3 per pack. So every team is represented. Really good fun. You'll enjoy them. Like I say, if you fancy them, drop me a line. If you want to drop me a line, the members, just drop me a line through Patreon. Non-members, if you email us at superleagueraw21 at gmail.com. That's superleagueraw21 at gmail.com. Let us know if you're interested, and I can send you all the details for them. So there you go. That's the Super League. Well, this is why we're getting bigger and better, boys. We're doing things that nobody else is doing. You know what I mean?
Oh, they're fantastic. Based on tonight, they're going to go off with a bang.
Go off with a bang. Yes, absolutely. I wonder if a Catherine will buy one. That'll be interesting, won't it?
Not really.
Anyway, moving on.
Anyway, we move on. We need one. Really good idea, lad, says Mike. Looks like Matt's going to be going in it. Nicola Burton, she's having all three. Good. I tell you what, it's always nice to have Nicola around, isn't it? Right. Now, you all will probably be thinking, what on earth are these boys going to be doing over the winter months to keep us entertained on a Tuesday night? Well, do not panic. We're going to have a right bit of sport, and we want you to get involved. Apologies from Joel. He's moving house today, but he sent me his by a special message, but I haven't got a clue what Steph and Greg have got for us because we're about to debate what we're going to do tonight. A little bit of fun. What we're going to do is we're going to pick a 1 to 17 from the bottom 6 teams in Super League last year that we believe would have been a playoff side had they have all gone on the field together. Get involved. We're going to go by position by position. We are picking a team from the bottom 6 teams of Super League in 2024, a 1 to 17 that we believe would be a playoff side had that team have been on the park last season. A bit of fun. There you go. Alan Clegg gets it. He loved it. He loved it.
Alan just got it.
Alan loved it. He loved it. See, Alan knows the score. He knows the score. Yes. Don't forget that QR code, ladies and gentlemen. Right, so we're going to get straight into it. So, of course, we're going to start at fullback. I've got Joel's team here as well in front of me, so I'll share Joel's as we go through. Fullback, obviously, lots of contenders. Let's just quickly off the top of our heads go through them. We've got the likes of, where are we? We're starting with Leeds, aren't we? So you've got Miller, you've got Tex Hoy, you've got Logan Moy, you've got Arthur Morg, you've got Josh Rourke. Who am I missing out? I'm missing somebody. Tuilula Haya. So, there's plenty of quality in the number 1 jersey that we can pick. Greg, I will start with you as you're having a slurp. Who was your fullback and why? Who would you pick from the bottom 6 teams as your fullback?
Well, when I first thought about this, I thought Morg was a shoo-in.
Yeah.
And then I looked at the stats and I looked at Lola Haya and thought, oh, okay, he's got a chance. And then I looked at Lachlan Miller's stats. Yardage, meters made, tackles. He was head and shoulders above Morg and Lola Haya at the stats I looked at. So I've gone for Lachlan Miller at number 1.
That'll do. We'll stick at fullback. We'll go through systematically, sir.
Reasons like nearly 4,000 meters.
Yeah.
206 tackle busts, 489 carries. That was pretty good going for a team that struggled for most of the season. I think he was out with an injury for a few games as well. So Lockie Miller was my choice.
Lockie Miller was your choice, right? Okay. I think if Alex Sharp was watching tonight, he questioned the tackle bust stats. He said that a little slap off was counted as a tackle bust. He wasn't digging the tackle bust stats for his own player last year, wasn't Alex? But
I can only go what the figures say.
You can. You're right. They are the stats. That is what Lockie did, and like I say, featured in a lot of the top performers. A lot of the KPIs did Lockie Miller. Steph, where did you go?
Yeah, well, I didn't do anything to do with stats. I just went off my watching it. what I thought would be the most probably exciting team I've gone for with my stuff. So I did consider Morg. And maybe he maybe even make an appearance later on. But I've gone for Rourke. I think some of the in that London side when he came into it, I think London changed. And some of the tries and assists that he made this season in that side were phenomenal. And I'm really excited because he's gone to Wakefield, hasn't he?
He has, yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see him because he'll be competing with the, is it Jowett?
Jowett, yeah, it'll be Max Jowett and Rourke fighting out.
I mean, he's got over 500 points this season, hasn't he, Jowett? So it'd be difficult to drop him. So it'd be interesting to see how Rourke goes on. But for all the right reasons, I've gone for Rourke rather than stats.
But like the wrong reasons.
Not just stats. A bit. I think potential is the reason I've gone for Rourke as well. What he could be, a young lad, and what he's potentially.
He's definitely a good player, and he did come into my thinking as well. But I was convinced it was going to be Arthur Morg at fullback, and when I looked into it, I thought, wow, Lachlan Miller's stats this season have been superb, considering that Leeds missed out on the top 6.
Yeah. No, mate, I absolutely. And I think the thing about Rourke, Joel has gone for Josh as well. So he's gone that way. Just going into the chat, let's have a quick look. So Carrie Ann, she's gone Josh at fullback. Christopher Ashton's gone Arthur Morg. Dawn said it's either Rourke or Miller for her. Nicola Burtonwood saying Josh Rourke in the chat. Aidan Simpson going my old mate Tex Hoy. Outstanding stuff there. But yeah, a lot of Rourke's again. So yeah, Rourke pretty much transformative for London. I've also gone Josh Rourke for similar reasons to Steph. For me, wasn't obviously had his injury at the start of the season, playing for London, and I thought he was magical in a side that was up against it. I think Josh Rourke in a top side, and of course Wakey, people argue well Wakey out of top side. I think they'll be in and around the playoffs. I really, really do. I think they'll surprise some people next year. Wakefield Trinity.
I think Wakey will do well next season.
I do. I think where Josh is. I mean, I'll tell you now, if Josh Rourke was in a Salford side, was in a I know Lee's got Armstrong, but if they hadn't brought Armstrong in, Josh Rourke at Lee wouldn't have been a bad shout. Josh Rourke for me in a team that have got a bit more quality around him could be a very, very special player, and for that reason is why I picked him. Is the potential that if you put him in a team full of quality players, which I think our teams will be, I think he could really shine. I really, really do. So Greg, understand why you're going Miller, and quite a few people in the chat going with you as well.
It's bullying, sir, I tell you, bullying.
But you're wrong.
It's not bullying. It's not bullying. But yeah, Josh Rourke, Greg's gone Miller. Of course,
Josh Rourke now because Lucky Miller's out for the start of next season. Isn't he?
Yeah.
Should have bought Rourke.
Kiss of death. I put his name on my team sheet. Is
you might ask Wakefield from on loan because he can't get in because Jowett's there.
Do you know what I think? Do you know what? As good as much as I like Max Jowett, I think Rourke's got to start. I really. As you said, he scored 500 points there in the championship last year.
If you drop him,
exactly. But for me, I don't know. I just think there's something about that kid. I think he's a bit of a player, and I like Max Jowett. I think he's a great player, but I just think that the time is now for Rourke. I really, really do. Really surprised
about him, Rourke. He's got something about him. I'll agree on that score, but Lucky Miller was better.
And you know what? I'm not being funny. I can't believe that Ian's not put Logan Moore in the chat. But anyway, that's by the by. Maybe he'll come firing back a little bit later on in the 1 to 17. Right, let's go.
Grabbing a sherry from the fridge.
Maybe. Let's go to the number 2 spot on the wing. For a right. Well, actually, we'll keep going in the same order. Greg, who are you going at 2?
Well, I haven't. I've gone with early season form with this one. I've gone Adam Swift because he'd scored more than a try a game before he got injured. Before he got injured. There were other candidates, Tom Davis maybe, but I just thought Adam Swift, and this is where I went with gut rather than statistics. I think if Adam Swift had stayed fit, he'd have had an absolute monster season. And probably would have topped the try scoring charts. So I've gone with Adam Swift at number 2.
Yeah. I mean, Swift, there's no doubt about it. Me and Joel spoke about this at length in terms of, the damage it did to Huddersfield season. There's no doubt that had Adam Swift have been in the squad for the whole campaign, they could have been knocking on the door for top 6. That's the difference I think Swifty would have made. He was in incredible form. He really was. Yeah. For those of you, I'm just looking here now, 1st of March, scores 1 against the Warriors. 8th of March, he Tigers 2. Then the Robins, he scored 1 against the Broncos, 3 against FC, 1 against the Rhinos. All of this in the space of 2 months. It was just and he did something similar at Hull FC the year before. He went on a 9, 10, 11 game try scoring streak. Adam Swift for me, absolute quality. No surprises, he's Joel's pick at 2. No surprises, he's mine. I completely agree. I think for me, like I say, if I was picking a team for next season right now, out of the bottom 6, who would I want on that wing based on that pool of players? Stats don't lie. Swifty's class, absolutely class. Steph, who have you got?
Adam Swift.
There you go.
I want to give a notable mention though, just so not just saying Adam Swift. I did have Innes Senior was my backup. If Swift's injury didn't recover, me now being a Super League coach, I was going to recruit Innes Senior to cover Swift just in case he wasn't the same player coming back from that injury, which we all hope he will be, because I actually tipped him to be top try scorer at the beginning of the season, and he was well on his way to being that at one point. So yeah, Adam Swift is mine, but notable mention for his senior who thought had a cracking season.
Yeah, I must admit, he won me a couple of quid, Alan Swift, in the early part of the season in terms of accumulators. He was a pretty safe bet.
He won me one as well, yeah.
Yeah, he was a pretty safe bet on an accumulator early in the season. I mean, again, I agree. I think Inny Senior had his best try scoring season for Castleford last season. We must give Inny Senior a shout on that. The thing, though, for me with Senior was that his tries were grouped. I mean, for example, 4 against the Red Devils. I mean, he only scored, I think it was 14 last season. And I know that 4 came against Salford Red Devils. So, they were grouped. I think you've got a brace in a couple as well. So, actually, when you look into seniors, it was group tries. I mean, one of those ones that he scored against Salford, if you remember, was an absolute beauty.
I think I was just going to say, though, I think the tries that he did score, they were unbelievable. They weren't just passed and been touched down. They were full lengthers, and I'd have loved to see in a senior in a top 6 side. I think he could be an outstanding winger.
Well, I mean, he's only I think he's 24, 23, 24. He's not old in his senior, so who knows? He might get himself into one of those sides in his career. Thank you very much to Billy Ingham, showing the love. He says you don't get 1 to 17s on other podcasts. This is why Super League Raw is great. We're keeping Billy entertained this evening. Nice one, Billy. Well played, sir. Well played indeed. Outstanding stuff. Swift on his day. Tom McKay, he's in complete agree. Billy Ingram, lets himself down after that fantastic comment he talked about. All I would say is the only way David Foster 2 gets anywhere near my 17 is if he carries water, sir. There's no way.
In his defence, he does say in the next post that he's only joking.
I know he is, but I'm pretending not to see that one. Outstanding stuff. But Adam Swift, what a season! Really looking forward to getting Swifty back on the field.
I'm sure Huddersfield fans are as well.
Absolutely, quality player. Right, okay. Who's going to be accompanying him as his centre, gentlemen? Let's do his centre first. Who are you going as your number 3, Greg?
Eastern Masters.
Okay, so you're going to Huddersfield combo there, mate?
Yeah. I think they were working well. They would have worked well together, I think, if injury have intervened. Yeah. Just the meters made, the carries. I think Eastern Masters was a shining light this season from what I saw of him from Huddersfield. I like him. He's a great player. I think he would have. I think if those two could have had longer together, it might have been, as you say, a combination that got them in the top 6.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's
absolutely. Callum asking who scored the most tries this year. That was Liam Marshall, mate. If that's what you're asking. Who have you got partnering Adam Swift, Steph?
I've got Eastern Masters as well.
Wow. Nice. The Salford
scary boys.
I know for people who are watching, we have not shared these teams.
No, we've not.
We've come on to this tonight, picking it, and I think the fact that we've all agreed on Swift, we're now all agreeing on Masters because Joel's got him and so have I. It just goes to show how well these players played, and the reason we're doing this 1 to 17 is again there might be certain players in our squads tonight that people don't, I think it was Mark and both Craig said when we asked about what Super League Raw brought to them, and he said it's broadened the horizons in terms of other player statistics, how well other players play. And I think there's going to be a bit of that here tonight where, if you're joining us for the first time and, you're not really had an eye on the bottom 6, if you're a Wigan fan that is pure cherry and white, a Wire fan, pure primrose and blue, you might not see these players, but I think, like I say, we do this show week in, week out. We get into the detail, we get into the stats. The fact that we're picking out and agreeing on Masters right across the board tells you everything that you need to know about how well this player played. Played well in the internationals as well. He's done all right in the Pacific Championship as well, hasn't he?
Cook Islands. Is he Cook Islands? Yeah,
I think it is. Yeah, I think Cook. Yeah.
I mean, what a Sunday morning!
They're playing him in the halves, aren't they? They played him in the halves. Which is interesting.
Lola Hayer's been playing well as well.
Yeah, good players.
The weekend he had what a Sunday that's going to be though.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Callum's asking how many tries did Masters score? 6.
26, would it? 26?
Oh no, tries 6.
Oh,
Masters.
Oh, Masters.
Yeah, Masters, yeah.
I thought Liam Marshall. I think it was Liam Marshall.
He made 8 tries. He scored 6. Did Masters last season. But running nearly 2,731 meters, 96 tackle busts, clean breaks, 9. He was solid. He was solid. And again, another player that only played 19 games. He was out injured for 8. So again, you've got to say, those type of stats, having played 19, not 27. There's a lot of centres who played the full 27 rounds and don't get anywhere near that. I mean, that's how well Masters played. So well done to Masters. Don't think anybody is talking to anybody else down there. No, they're not. So let's go to the number 4, the other side. Who are you partnering Masters with, Greg?
This is where I go a bit controversial, because I looked at McCoody, I looked at Newman, and I'm going a bit left field here, and I'm going to slot in his senior in there. I know it's probably the wrong side for him, but I'm going to slot in his senior in there.
You're going rogue, Mr. Nixon.
I'm going rogue, and he'll probably burn me alive. But I looked at Newman, and I did look at Hakan McCoody from London. But I just thought, you know what? In his senior has played centre, and I think he's that talented. He could slot in there. He's certainly an exciting player. Nearly 3,000 meters made, 14 tries. So I'm going left field. I'm going rogue. I'm prepared to be burned alive, but I'm putting his senior in there at the centre.
And here's a man. Hang on. Here's a man that on Sunday night on the Final Whistle podcast was giving it large. Don't play players out of position for England. And here he is putting his own 17 on the field.
This isn't an international team.
Unbelievable.
This is not an England side, mate. This is a bottom 6 Super League best of.
Shocking. You've
got to get in his senior in there somewhere. He's played centre, mate, and I'll defend it. You defend.
I'll defend
it. This is not we're not picking international sides.
You made that point. Very forcibly twice.
We can afford to play players out of position in Super League and get away with it more than we can.
Radio. Okay. So
I rest my case, Your Honour.
Mr. Sale, who have you gone at 4?
I've gone for the Great Britain centre, Harry Newman.
You've gone for the Great Britain centre.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
He actually played really well against Samoa.
He did play well. And Joel agrees with you. He's gone Harry Newman at 4, which is interesting. And do you know what? Well done. And I'm going to give some massive shout outs here, because there was a player that is not made my team, but I'm so happy that our viewers have given him a shout out, and that is Sam Wood. Mike Irving has mentioned Sam Wood. Aidan Simpson has mentioned Sam Wood. Absolutely spot on, guys. Couldn't agree with you more. Yeah. Sam Wood last season for Castleford Tigers, simply brilliant. So so much potential. So much potential, Sam Wood. We saw him when he was at KR. We liked him at KR.
I think we were surprised when he went to Castleford from KR.
He was part of the 3, weren't he, that went and then turned Castleford's season around, and they started playing really well, weren't they?
That combination on the left edge for them last year in his senior, and this is what I mean. It all started to go wrong when Woody got injured, senior got injured. When they had to put Mello in at the centre. Mello, don't get me wrong, did a good job for him. But when that season started and they had Eli El Zakeem, Woody, and in his senior, that was a lovely. Some really, really nice combinations early doors in the season. At that Red Devils game, especially where senior got the 4 tries, that edge was working. Honestly,
would that be in his senior?
In his senior, yeah. It was like a newly polished Mr. Sheen table. It was that nice. It was polished to perfection, that left-hand side. There's no doubt about it. No dust to be seen anywhere other than off the boots of Mr. Senior. Absolutely outstanding. You don't get this on other podcasts as well, Billy Lad. You smile all you want, mate. I know you are smiling. Lovely, lovely stuff. Right, well, here we go. Greg went rogue.
Aidan Simpson's saying he hasn't played centre all season. What a load of tripe.
Well,
anyway,
she told Reggie.
Aidan, get off that fence and tell me what you really mean.
Yeah, get off the fence. Get off the fence. Right, I'm gonna. This is where I'm gonna go rogue, and I think you might actually just tip me the wink here and go, "Oh, that's genius." I'm gonna guess that that's what you're gonna do, because I'm gonna go at left centre, a player that played at least, I would say, 2/5, maybe 3/5 of the season at centre, and that's Reece Martin. I'm going Reece Martin at number 4, open up a spot in the back row. Reece Martin can play either centre or he can play second row. I thought when he was put in the second row for the Leeds Rhinos, he let nobody down whatsoever. You want players who can play the full 27 rounds of Super League. He did that. He's got a boot that is quite frankly outstanding. Wonderful. Kicking accuracy from Reece Martin. The Robins are going to benefit from that immensely in 2025. 10 tries in there, 6 assists. Running meters 2,880 from him. Reece for me is a class act, and he's deserving for me of the number 4 shirt in my side. So that might take you a little bit by surprise, but hey, I don't think that's cheating because he did play, like I say, at least 3/5 of the season at centre.
No, you can put him where you want, mate. You're the simple.
Well, if he can have any senior at centre, I'm definitely having
exactly.
Absolutely.
Could have put John Bateman at centre if I wanted.
You could. You, Sean Wayne. Anyway, moving on. The Sean Wayne in disguise. Dear God, Lord, no. Right, okay. Rebecca Frey saying, yeah, he's been a brilliant. Totally agree. I presume that's about Reece Martin in there as well. So, yeah, there you go. There's we're now at number 5. The other winger. Who are we going to have alongside, in your case, Greg, in his senior, in my case, Reece Martin, and in Steph and Joel's case, Mr. Newman? Who are you going to put on the left-hand side wing, mate?
Ash Hanley.
Nice. Yeah. Okay.
Scored tries, made a lot of meters. I'm going to have Ash Hanley there.
Yeah. Well, for those who don't watch Super League Raw weekly, why wouldn't you? You will do next year, won't you? But Ash Hanley, if you remember, I think he was he March or was he April's player of the month? He was one of them.
Yeah, March. I think
it was March. Yeah, he got off to an absolute flyer, didn't he? Really did. Those opening rounds right the way through. Yeah, I'm just looking now. Yeah, first 4 games, 2 against the Red Devils, 1 against the Robins, 2 against the Dragons, 2 against the Lee Leopards. He came out firing, Steph, didn't he?
He did, and he's my pick as well. And if he's not everybody's pick, then I'd be absolutely flabbergasted.
Well, Callum's called Tom Johnston just to be controversial.
Yeah, I think it's a shout. I don't think it's a bad shout at all. But for me, given Hanley's age and lack of injuries, like we mentioned, Tom Johnson could have been an absolute superstar without for the injuries.
It's such a shame for Tom Johnson.
Yeah, absolutely. But if I was picking my side now, Ash Hanley's just. I just can't see how you could go past him. I don't see how you could pick anybody else.
No, well, I've gone Hanley. Joel's gone Hanley, and wouldn't you just know it? As we're starting to put Leeds players in, Alex Sharp from Thailand. Oh, hey, they're all. So you can't beat a Bicker Weekly. So you guys who've never watched Super League Raw Weekly before, we've got lads in Amsterdam tuning in. Maybe with a couple of space cakes in their hands. They're watching Super League Raw Weekly and enjoying themselves. Kids, don't ask what that's all about. You don't want to know. And then you've got Alex Sharp there in Thailand getting involved as well. He can't beat a Bicker Weekly. 5-4 Wednesday morning. Incredible.
It's great because Alex put a picture on his Facebook earlier and he's converted his missus to be a Lee Leopards fan by the looks of it, which is fantastic.
I saw that.
She's wearing leopard print.
Absolutely.
Oh, loving that. Loving a bit of leopard print.
Dave, don't forget our friend from the birthplace of Sir Leslie Boyd as well.
Well, I'll tell you what's interesting. Even our Doris has got a new jumper that's got a little bit of leopard print on the shoulders. I said, Steph's going to love you, love. Outstanding stuff. Even our Doris has got a bit of leopard.
Absolutely.
Dave, sure you mean your lovely wife?
Absolutely, our Doris, yes. Word has it that Greg on Christmas Eve is wearing a leopard print thong. Don't know how true that is, but I'll leave that to Sal. Anyway, we move on. What's a thong, says the young watchers. God, I haven't got a clue. It's a song by some rapper in America. Anyway, we move on. Let's get into the number 6. We're going to go standoff now. Greg, are you having it your number 6?
Brodie Croft.
Yeah.
I mean, his stats are amazing. Saying they didn't finish top 6.
Yeah.
Brodie Croft stats. He had a. You're right. You said earlier on tonight that he didn't have the season that a lot of it expected him to have, but he came back strongly towards the back end of the season. He made lots of meters. He made lots of try. He was 22 try assists, I think. Mm-hmm. Over 400 carries. When he's on form. He's almost unplayable when he's on form, Brodie Croft. He's my number 6.
Yeah, and he's Joel's as well. He's Dawn Kirkby's in the chat. Hello, Dawn. Lovely to see Dawn Kirkby. Going to be going up against Ian Judson. Oh, she's in your group, isn't she? So Dawn, I'm pretty confident she's in the Super League Raw group as well. So the mastermind. Oh, it's going to be a belter. Yeah,
What group
so
is that?
I think it's Group B. I think
Group B.
Group B. But yeah, Dawn's in there. We're going to have the Battle of Hull FC. Jensen taking on Ian. Oh, imagine if Ian loses to Jensen on the Hull FC. Right. Oh, dear me. We could have a tantrum. It could be a tantrum. That could actually feature on Weekly if we got a tantrum. Anyway, that's another story. Ollie Leyland's getting a mention by Callum, which is I think very.
I think Callum's saying Croft and Leyland in the halves.
Oh, he's going in the halves. He's going 6 and 7. Fair enough. Dawn, like I said, has already gone Brodie Croft. Over to you, Steph. Where are you going?
Yeah, I had him at 7, Brodie Croft.
Right,
so
okay.
I'll switch him to 6.
Switch him to 6. I mean, there's an argument they're interchangeable anyway.
Yeah, I thought he did wear 7 for Leeds. I might have got that wrong.
He's 6, mate. No, Frawley. Is that wonderful Mr. Frawley that got the 7 shirt?
Oh, yeah. Did he wear 7 for the Rob Burrow game, though?
No, that was Frawley.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Frawley, mate. Yeah, that wonderful architect on a rugby field that is Mr. Frawley.
Well, I picked Croft at 6, obviously.
Absolutely, of course you did. Absolutely, of course you did. Absolutely, of course you did. But yeah, we've all gone Brodie Croft. On Brodie Croft, we talk about moments in a season. The Rob Burrow game at Headingley. I mean, let's be absolutely clear. That night for me, in terms of the current playing group, Brodie Croft's emotion will stick with me for many years. Not just the way in which he scored his try. And I think what it showed for me was the professionalism of the man. That in such a big game where clearly for him it meant so much, and he'd hyped himself up so much, to actually harness that energy in the right way and then allow it to just overflow at the end when the game was over. I felt it was one of the most incredible moments of the 2024 season, lads.
Yeah, well, I was honoured to be in the ground that day, and I think when you look at memories of the season, he's gone. That was right up there, probably in my lifetime watching rugby league. Actually, like I say, it was a privilege to be in the ground that day. And also to see Croft's performance, because I thought it was a superhuman effort by Croft that day. He turned into a different player. It was like he was possessed.
That was probably his best performance of the season.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
It was such a weird, strange. I've never been to a game like it in terms of the atmosphere and in the nicest possible way as well. It was just a very special day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Callum loving the jumper, Greg. He obviously is an Iron Maiden fan. Nothing wrong with that. Alan Clegg knows it was Cisco who did the thong song. Cisco did the thong song. Oh, yes. Great tune. Wonderful.
Down with the kids.
Down with the kids, Greg. I could see you rocking that on Christmas Eve, mate. Don't you? Hey, whoa, happy days. Wonderful stuff. Brodie Croft. I think it's right that we just have that moment to reflect on that game and Croft in particular. I thought it was, without doubt, there'll be, we'll probably talk about our endearing moments on a separate show. Maybe we'll have a top 5, top 10 most endearing moments of 2024 in a later show. But that, I think, would feature in all of ours. Absolutely incredible. Right, okay. We move now to 7. This could get interesting. Who are we having in your number 7 shirt, Greg?
Ollie Leyland.
Okay.
It's actually Cypher Warrington by any chance.
What are you trying to say, sir? No, Ollie Leyland, simply because of the impacts he had in a team that was struggling most of the season. A bit like maybe Steph going with Josh Rourke. I think this kid is dynamite. I think he was for London. I think if he'd have had more quality around him, he would have been one of the shining lights. I think, yes, he has signed for Warrington, but I think he's got massive potential. Dawn's put Theo Farge. I looked at Theo Farge, but I think Theo Farge has had a really disappointing season.
Yeah, not for me.
Really disappointing season. So I've gone Ollie Leyland. I know Charles. Charles has got potential as well, but Ollie Leyland is, there you go, my number 7. I'll be prepared to be shot down in flames.
Dawn, put the glass down.
I thought,
Should
I thought
we get,
you'd frozen then, Dave. I'm
no,
thinking
should we get in ropes for the Albert Goldthorpe next year on that type of form? Deary me, John Theo Farge. Good Lord. Oh, ouch. Anyway, and on that bombshell, Ollie Leyland for you, Steph?
No, I actually picked Charles.
Jack?
No, I just start getting excited for a second. Yeah. No, did I? No, I've got a bit of sense. I've gone for Tuilala here.
Yeah, at 7.
Yeah.
He played 6, didn't he?
He can play 6, 7. I know.
Hey, hang on a minute. You've got in his senior at centre, pal. So I'm quite within my right to play Tuilala here at 7.
Well, Alex Sharp, all the way from Thailand, he's trying to reel in Ian. No, Charles, what's going on, fella? Says Alex Sharp down there. But yeah,
like hasn't kicked in yet. Then,
yeah, but Tuilala here. I mean, on his day, one of the best in Super League. He just didn't have many good days last year, did he?
No. But I think him and Croft as a partnership would be lethal.
I think the same with Leyland and Croft. You know.
Do you not think they're too similar, though, Steph? You know, I mean, because they've got similar games, haven't they?
Yeah, but I think we're in a pool that we're looking at here in terms of the quality. You know, and there's no doubt Tuilala here has been a solid, very solid Super League player for a long time now, and I think that experience that he would bring to my side, I'd be quite happy with Croft and Tuilala here in my,
But on that, you know, we've spoke at length, lads, this year, haven't we? We've spoke at length in terms of, you know, partnerships at 6 and 7, the Smith French combo. You know, you've said about your own team that, you know, Lamb hasn't got that kicking game. When they put Moyland in the back, yeah, O'Brien's got a reasonable kicking game. But, you know, like I say, are they too similar? You know, does it give him?
I think Ollie Leyland's very similar to Croft.
I'll get to Greg in a minute. Don't start being spiky.
Yeah, I agree. To a point, I do agree in terms of where's your kicking game coming from. But I think Brodie Croft could step up into a decent kicking game, and Lola here is there for that bit of X factor as well on the side. So I just like them as a partnership. I think they'd be all right.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. And you know, in terms of Leyland, you know, just going back to Leyland with Greg. I thought, you know, last year for Leyland, for him to have got 27 Super League games under his belt has done him a world of good. There's no doubt about that. I thought as the season went on as well, his kicking game improved. 3 40-20s in the season from Ollie Leyland.
He was my second choice, to be fair, Ollie Leyland.
At number 7, yeah. Just the 2 tries, but 16 assists. You know, for a young lad. You know, first shot, only 23, got years ahead of him. It's a good shout, Reggie. It's a good shout. I mean, I can say this because the big lad's not here. It's a better shout than James Meadows. I thought James Meadows, and that's where Joel's gone. I thought Meadows was going to be a superstar this year. And, you know, in the same way that Rourke and Leyland really took the opportunity.
I did look at Meadows, to be honest. But
he had a shocker, mate. You know, he's off. He's back at. You know, is it Bradford or is it Bradford? It's Bradford, isn't it?
Bradford, yeah.
He's going Bradford, isn't he? You know, he was a lad that going into the 2024 season, we were all saying, "Hey, this lad's a player. This is going to be interesting."
He was as well to begin with.
Championship, he was, but
potential
Super League level, he just didn't sparkle at all. And you know, I think the fact that players in the London side did. You know, gone was the excuse while he was playing in the London side that we're getting thrashed. He was playing in the London side. They'd actually be quite competitive as the season went on. And the likes of Leyland, the likes of Rourke, and even people like Robbie Story, who had a great season for London for me. Robbie Story didn't let anybody down last year. You know, he had a good year as well. Reece Kennedy was a man reborn at London last year. So I think for me, you know, if you go back and you watch on our YouTube channel, we've got all of our shows from this year. If you go back to the start of the season, first couple of shows when we looked at the squads, I went big on James Meadows, and I have to say he let me down. He just, you know, he's still got time on his side. I think he still potentially could come back into Super League at some point, but it's a real missed opportunity for James Meadows. So I was surprised when Joel sent me that it was James Meadows that got his pick.
Who's yours, Dave?
Well, I'm coming to that. So my pick, and this for me, going back to what I was saying to Steph, I've got me Brodie Croft, I've got me Dynamo in that number 6 shirt. I need a game manager, and this is going to surprise many, but hear me out. I've gone Jordan Abdul of the Catalan Dragons, and the reason I've gone Jordan Abdul for the Catalan Dragons, into the detail, ladies and gentlemen. Jordan Abdul played 16 times for the Catalan Dragons last year. He had a win ratio of 68.75%. Catalan were better with him than without him. And if Catalan had have got 68.7% of the points on offer in 2024, they'd have had 37 points in Super League and would have been comfortably in the playoffs. Jordan Abdul, even though, let's be fair, he was a bit rounded last year, and I don't just mean his game. But Jordan, Jordan,
Evening, Mr. Abdul.
I had him as prop.
But no, but hey, I can take the Mickey out of Jordan, because at the end of the day, he's in my side. He's not in yours. The lad for me last year when he played, Halliwell Jones, perfect example. When Jordan Abdul played, Catalan managed games so much better, a 68.75% win ratio. How he didn't play more games when he was fit, how he was left out, clearly a fallout. It's the only thing that for me could possibly have happened, because you don't leave a player out with that win ratio.
He was at Krispy Kreme instead of training, that's why.
Yeah, but mate, he can have all the Krispy Kremes he wants, mate. For me, no, let's be fair. He could kick a ball right into the middle of the donut ring, my friend. That's how accurate he is. Let's be absolutely.
No, he is. No, I'm joking. I think the reason why I didn't consider him my side is because he did miss a lot of games this season. And I did expect him to go and light it up at Catalan. I thought he'd be brilliant for them. And I don't think we saw that, just because of the games he missed as well.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't even put him in. And obviously, he's going to Hull FC. We'll see what he does when he gets to FC there.
Well, when Alex Sharp's in agreement with me, it must be it must be coming up to Christmas. must be coming up to Christmas. Alex is.
You know what Alex Sharp is? Jet lagged.
Well, something. Right, I think this is probably going to be the easiest of them all. Number 8, Greg.
Oh, I struggled with this one. I really did struggle with this one. He scraped in by the skin of his teeth. Herman Sasa.
Yeah.
First name on the team sheet.
It was the easiest pick. I think I'd agree. I'd agree with you. Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think it was the first one I wrote down when I was doing mine. Prop forward of the season, bar none. Should have been in the dream team. Wasn't in the dream team. Says everything that you need to know about how that dream team is picked. Because quite frankly, he was without doubt the number 1 prop. Steph, same.
Of course.
Happy days. And Joel's got exactly the same way. And Joel's got exactly the same way. And again, you know what? I'm not being funny, but people who've watched Super League Raw this year, they're onto this. Let me tell you now, if you've been listening to another podcast, if you've been reading other publications, let me tell you, I don't think you will have given SASA as much attention and praise as we have done. That lad this year deserves to get honest. What a player. He would walk into any, including Wigan, any Super League side. On those stats, he would walk into the Brick Community Stadium and he would probably be starting number 8.
Well, to be honest, knowing SAS, he'd walk through the walls at the Brick Stadium.
Yeah, absolutely. Steph's just going for a little comfort break, ladies and gentlemen. It's always a long evening here at Super League. But yeah, no, I mean, for me, SASA, Greg, he walks into anything. Warrington had announced that they were bringing SASA in for next year. I'd have been doing cartwheels, mate, down Bridge Street.
Just give him the Super League trophy now. Too soon?
Yeah. Here come the pelters. Grenade has gone in. Get ready for the chat. The chat's about to.
Where are you, mate? Come on. Where are you?
And I thought I had to look outside to see fireworks. Here we go. They're coming into the chat.
It's like the first day on the Somme here, not bonfire night. Look at that.
Happy days. Right, okay. Steph will be back in a minute. We'll move on to the number 9 shirt. I think this could be an interesting one as well. The number 9 shirt in our sides. Greg, I'm going to let you kick off. Who have you got number 9?
What? This was the toughest pick. It really was.
Yeah.
Because lots of players who've played at hooker in the 7 to 12 have been injured, have been playing out of position. This was a real tough one, and to me, it shows the value of a decent hooker to a team, to a side. Wigan suffered a little bit when Brad O'Neill got injured initially, I thought.
Yeah.
All the top 6 teams have got at least one, if not 2, quality hookers, as have the bottom 6. But those quality hookers seem to have been injured, or not played as many games as he should. I'm thinking McAlorum and players like that. I looked at Liam Horn, who can play 9 and 6, who's decent. But at the end, I went for Andy Ackers from Leeds, because he's probably the best of I'm not going to say a bad bunch, but the best of a depleted bunch. McShane at Castleford was injured for most of the season. Players you would think that Danny Houghton didn't have a great season. So I've gone for Andy Ackers.
Yeah, and I thought, I think Ackers, it took him a while to settle, didn't it? I've gone the same.
Once it is a bit like Brodie Croft. It was a bit like Leeds as a whole.
Yeah.
They had a real poor start to the season. They changed coaches, and I thought Ackers came into his own, as did Brodie Croft.
Yeah.
As Alex says, O'Connor did have a decent year.
Yeah, he did.
But for me, 7 to 12 showed how important having a decent hooker is in your side, and that's no disrespect to Andy Ackers. He's a decent player. I think he was let down quite possibly by the poor start that Leeds had at the start of the season.
Yeah.
So I've gone for Andy Ackers there.
Yeah, and I've gone exactly the same way. I thought he got better as and I think the thing here is if I was judging this on last season, which is not what we were doing, we were saying who would you pick? If it's Championship Rugby League and you could pick your starting 17 from what is on offer from those bottom 6 clubs, who would it be? On last year's form, we're not. I think Andy Ackers for me. Would I put him in? I don't know, but based on what we know Andy Ackers can do, I think he'll be better this year for Leeds.
Hope so for Leeds.
I'm very surprised if he wasn't, and because we know what he's capable of doing, I've given him a number 9 shirt. I think Jared O'Connor, Alex Sharp in the chat, absolutely. I thought Jared O'Connor, again, another season where he has done everything that's been asked of him at Leeds Rhinos. Nobody can point a finger at Jared O'Connor in terms of his effort and application last year. Greg, you mentioned Liam Horn, which again,
I thought Horn came close. O'Connor needs another season, I think, to fulfill his potential.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Callum mentioned Barnforth or Horn. I think Andy Ackers improved as the season went on.
That's a shout. And do you know what? I'm sorry, Ian. I didn't. And do you know what? Barnforth didn't even come into my head when I was doing
him.
But that's a shout, because actually he had moments in the season where he shone. I think there was a period there, about 4 or 5 games all in a row that he got, where he was bang at it.
Yeah. He didn't have enough games for me. Didn't have enough games.
Yeah, good shout. Steph, who have you put at 9?
Yeah, I did consider Barnforth, actually. I thought he had a fantastic season in that FC side, one of the standouts for them, definitely with SASA. I couldn't see past my PNG connections, so I went with Horn. I thought he'd just bring that dynamism to the side. We didn't get to see him, actually, because he didn't play against Lee. He was always injured or suspended when we played Castleford, so we never got to see Pappy v Hall, which was a bit gutting. But Alex will be pleased to hear that Jared may make an appearance in my squad later.
All right, fair enough. Barnforth and Horn for Callum. Here's a surprise. Joel went Paul McShane. I'd love him to have been on to tell us why. I mean, look, McShane has been an incredible servant to the Castleford Tigers, and fully fit Paul McShane in his prime. Absolutely. But no, if I was picking a team for 2024, 2025 to get me comfortably get me into the playoffs.
He's gone to the championship.
Yeah.
He was injured for most of the season.
He was
considered
out.
He wouldn't be any good in your 2025 squad if he's going championship, would he?
Well, he's not. And even if you were looking retrospectively at last season, you know, and we were looking at picking this team to go last season, you know, I wouldn't.
Oh, that's what we were.
Yeah. No, we're just having a mess about. I mean, he only played 10 times last year.
Just on Ackers as well. I was really disappointed with Ackers this year, and not because I don't think he's a brilliant player, because I do, and I thought he was going to be a superstar signing when him and Croft went to Leeds. But he's got a lot of improvement this year, a lot of improvements to make, and I'm sure he will do because he's a very good player. But that's why I couldn't pick Ackers at the moment.
Fair enough. No, I agree. Right, are we going on the other side for the prop then, Greg? Who's your number 10?
Again, might be a bit left field. I've gone Reece Kennedy.
I think it's a good shout. You know, I've got nothing against that.
Yeah, made a lot of meters, made a lot of tackles, did a lot of carries. Big lad, huge. I think he's another one that could blossom in any Super League side. Reece Kennedy. So I've gone for Reece Kennedy.
Yeah. Well, mate, he's again. You know, I couldn't agree. When you consider the difficulties he had shining at KR the year before, when he went to London, I think everybody's thinking, but actually he stood up really well. And when you consider, you know, he's going into battle against some big bruising units, isn't he? You know, he's the starting prop forward. He's coming up against the likes of your Ramones, your Vaughns, you know, your Thompsons of this world, Wormsley when he was fit. You know, when he stood his ground, he hadn't got a
SAS.
Yeah, mate, I've got no issue with that. I can understand why Reece Kennedy has been put in your team. I've got no issue with that. Joel, Steph?
How very rude.
Them diet tablets haven't worked. I'm on, have they?
I'll let you tell him.
Dear me. I went for Butler.
Oh, now that is a surprise. Why?
I just thought he had a really, really good season at London.
Yeah.
I was apart from SASA, there was in the props. I mean, I thought about Mikhail Letsky at Leeds, and I did consider Kennedy as well. But I just thought Butler had the games that I watched for London. He just seemed to stand out for me as a decent prop, up and coming. So yeah.
Well, you've knocked me over with a feather, I have to say. Saying that, so did Joel. He went George Lawler at Castleford. That was a surprise.
Oh yeah, that was a shout.
Was it?
Well, George Lawler had a really good early season. And I think, did he get sent off?
No, if you remember, Lawler was the one that had he had to take a period out. He was ill, wasn't he?
That's right. Yeah, he had a real strong start to the season, Lawler.
Yeah.
And then he missed a few games. Yeah, I couldn't remember whether it was a suspension or for what it was for, but yeah.
Aidan Simpson there saying he can't believe Kennedy at the moment hasn't been picked up for next year, which is interesting.
Well, there's plenty of teams with gaps in the roster so far.
Alex Sharp, Sims plays second row. Does Sims play second row prop? He plays second row. That's where he pretty much plays most of the time. Alex is what I would say there. Right, who did I put on the other side? Oh, I know who I put on the other side. Again, can play prop forward. I've got the beef. I've got Ermin, who's going to be a bruising machine on the left-hand side. And then I've got somebody who can just give me that extra bit of minutes, a little bit of quality, nice hands, nice feet, bit of Mike McMeekin. Oh, yes, put Mike McMeekin in the 10 shirt. That's where I'm putting him. I'm going to put Mikey at 10. That's where he's going. I think he wouldn't let me down at 10. Didn't let England down, did he, in the first test at prop forward. So I'm going Mr. McMeekin with my number.
Good shout.
Right,
I would potentially swap McMeekin for Butler.
Potentially,
I didn't consider it. I was in my head thinking McMeekin second row.
Yeah,
but I didn't pick him in second row either though. but
hey, spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! We're not even there yet.
I know, but it just goes to show you can change your mind on the fly. I would swap, based on what's been said. I take on board the thing. I would swap Butler out for him.
All I would say is the tumbleweed and silence that you got for Butler was not quite as much as what Dawn got for Theo Farge. She takes.
All right, got for Innis Senior.
She takes that one. Yeah. But anyway, right. Who's your number 11, Greg?
Will Lovell.
Yeah. Did a lot of tackles last year.
Made over 900 tackles as a second rower. Made nearly 2,000 meters. That's a decent second row stint. That.
Yeah. To be fair, mate. Again, going back to that Meadows chat.
Yeah. For a team that was being pummeled most weeks, that's a decent meterage. So I went Will Lovell.
Again, I can't argue with that. I think we talked about Meadows. Lovell definitely caught the eye. I thought he had a very good, strong season for London. So Greg, I'm not going to argue with that. I think that's a great shout, Will Lavelle. Steph,
Lavelle.
Yeah, well, I've gone with someone who made one of the biggest moments in 2024, absolutely kablamo in George Williams, and I think I've got here. This is to boost my season ticket sales, just because we may get hits like that. So I've gone Tariq Sims.
Yeah. I mean, I think he was good value. He was good value.
Discipline. I think I didn't pick him because of his discipline.
I'll coach that out of him.
Yeah, do you know what? But you say, I mean, he had a couple of moments. Was it KR when he scored the try and he gave it the big one behind the post?
Yeah,
KR. I'm trying to remember who that was. But that was a good moment as well when he scored that try and he gave it the bigger, outstanding stuff. Joel got the old. He got his old blinkers out here. Do you know what? He started well and faded, and I think there's a good player in him. Don't get me wrong. He went Jack Murchie, which
I did look at Murchie and the only reason why was because on our betting thing, Ryan Birch tipped him to score, and I didn't take it, and he did. So that's why I was considering Murchie. He did start off really well, but he kind of faded off, didn't he?
He did. So he's gone.
That's the thing with a lot of the players that are in these teams. They started off like houses on fire.
Yeah.
And as the season went on, whether it was injuries around them or whatever it was, the performances tailed off towards the end of the season. Yeah. Whereas Leeds were the opposite. They had an awful start and they kind of could have qualified for the six.
Did the Leeds thing, didn't they?
Yeah. They could have just done the typical Leeds thing and started absolutely awful and qualified for the six.
Absolutely.
So, anyway.
Anyway, my number 11, and do you know what? Really liked this lad last year. Really did. Really caught my eye. And that is Alex Mellor, Castleford Tigers. I thought Mellor last year, for me, for Castleford, was exceptional. Again, had a period out, and then he came back. And when he came back, he just showed them up on the left edge. He was superb. So really, really, that's where I go. So that's interesting. I think we've all gone different there, haven't we? Sims, Mellor, Murchie, and Greg reminded me Lovell, wasn't it?
Lavelle.
Oh yeah, it sounds good. That Lavelle should be on Coronation Street. But yeah, outstanding. Well done to Will. Right, let's go to the opposite side. The number 12 shirt. Who are you giving that one to, Reggie?
Reece Martin. Second name on the team.
Yeah. Obviously, my centre.
Reece Martin.
Yeah, my centre. Yeah.
I don't put him in the centre, and he's seen he's a far better centre. I was for you, Aidan. Reece Martin. Second, after it looked like my writing makes it look like Maureen SASA, but I'm not going to call him that. After Herman SASA, Reece Martin was second name on the team sheet.
Yeah. Alex might not have been with us. He's in my centre, Alex. I wanted to load up my back. So because he played centre for quite a lot of the season, I banged Reece in at number 4. Steph, who are you going at 12?
I've got in his senior.
You can play anywhere.
No, of course I've gone for Reece Martin.
Yeah, fair enough. And this was the surprise with Joel's. He hasn't got Reece Martin. Just, unbelievable. Couldn't believe it when he sent him. He's gone Sam Hewitt, and so have I. This is why I put Sam Hewitt.
Oh, because you put Reece Martin in the centre.
So I put Reece in the centre, which allows me to put Sam Hewitt in as my second rower. I thought Sam Hewitt, as the season went on, do you know what I'm?
Another spoiler. He may be in my team further.
Yeah, well, I think the thing with Sam Hewitt for me is there's certain players that you see in a season. So like Ensemba in 23, we were all saying, really looking forward to seeing how he goes. Now, Sam Hewitt's not junior Ensemba, but I am excited to see what Sam Hewitt can do for himself in 2025. I think Sam Hewitt could go on. You know, I always say every player's on their own pathway. You shouldn't compare and contrast, Sam Hewitt to Ensemba. Ensemba's a freak, absolute freak of nature. That's what he is. He's going to be outstanding. But I think Sam will improve this season. And he's already a good player now. I think he could elevate himself even further in 25. And I'm really looking forward to seeing.
I mean, that could very well be an England-Great Britain second-row partnership, Hewitt and Ensemba.
Well,
that would be something. That would be something.
I think Nicholson might have something to say about that.
Well, depends how he goes in Australia.
Yeah, absolutely. John said, who would be your coach for your team? We'll come back to that. I thought it was us, but if he wants us to pick a coach, then we can do that later down the line.
They can decide if they want us coach. Me, Dave, or Reggie. You can decide at the end based on our selections.
There you go. Anyway,
we'll know where your money is, boys.
We'll get our coach, Reggie. Mr. Lee Leopard's there with his fan base, and he's, can I have your autograph? Photo.
Not just records. I'm a fan of everyone.
Absolutely. Richard, I always remember the Huddersfield Giants cheerleaders wanted the picture with Steph. Richard Fewlis, Martin will be KR's missing link. Completely agree. Right, let's get into 13. Greg, who've you got as 13?
Genuinely, Richard, I think genuinely that could be the one that wins you the grand final next season.
Completely agree.
Reece Martin could be that Eric Cantona.
Of course, Richard is involved in the Mastermind Championship 2024-25. We'll look forward to his contribution and knowledge in that. Who's your number 13, Greg?
Cameron Smith.
The Leeds Rhinos captain.
Yeah, he had, you know what? Everybody thinks he had a poor season. Then you look at his stats. By his standards. You look at his stats. Leading tackle maker.
Correct.
Nearly 3,000 metres. Yeah. I think Cameron Smith, by his standards, I think, again, like Lockie Miller, like Brodie Croft, maybe like Andy Ackers, probably let down, apart from Reece Martin, let down by the players around him and the coaching early doors. And I think, I was really, really surprised when I looked through the stats, and Cameron Smith you think he had a poor season, but my word, he did really, really well in what was a poor Leeds side up until 8 weeks to go before the end of the season. So I've gone for Cameron Smith.
Fair enough. Alex is buttering us all up. He knows where his bread's buttered, Alex, doesn't he? He's got Greg as coach, me as an analyst specialist, and Steph the water boy. There you go.
Alex me as coach, really. He just doesn't want to.
There you go. Gary Robbins saying Joe Westerman.
Also, God knows what's going on.
Gary Robbins going Joe Westerman. Where are you going, Steph?
I've gone Ben Garcia. I think he's been absolutely solid. And there was rumours early in the season that Lee were looking at him as well. And I'd have been delighted if we'd have brought Ben in to replace John Asiata. Again, spoiler, the Cam Smith does make an appearance in my team as well.
We already know who's on Steph's bench.
There's no spoilers in my substitute bench.
Unbelievable.
But no, I just for initial, I think he's a leader, Garcia. Not that I don't think Cam Smith's a leader either, but I just think in that Catalan side, you can tell when Garcia's not playing, and I just highly rate him. So that's why I picked him.
Fair enough. I've got exactly the same. And if I was picking a captain, he would be the captain of my team for exactly the same reasons. Nothing more to add. Class player, quality. Again, just to reiterate, Joel's backline, Jack Murchie, Sam Hewitt, and now Leroy Cudjoe. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Cudjoe has been outstanding. I thought when Earl said what we'd said earlier when Leroy got a Player of the Year at Huddersfield, we said on the show, what does that say about? And Earl Crabtree probably didn't even watch that episode, and he said exactly the same. How does Leroy Cudjoe win the Player of the Year? Don't get me wrong, fully deserved, but the rest of that squad should be really looking at each other based on that. But I get it. Do you know what? No issue with Leroy Cudjoe going in there for me. Class player, and you know he's going to give you 9 out of 10 most games. So that's where Joel went. Right, there's the 1 to 13. In the interest of time, gentlemen, let's just reel them off. Who's on your bench? The full bench. Steph?
Me.
Yeah, go on.
Busquets, Liam Horn, Ben Garcia, and El Zakim.
Yeah, good shout. Yeah, I mean, El Zakim, you know, cast gutted.
Garcia, El Zakim. Well, obviously, all 4 of them were very, very close.
Yeah.
To being in my first 13, but to have them on the bench, you've got Horn who can do halfback, hooker, Busquets who's just a beast, Garcia who's clever, El Zakim who has been probably for me the most underrated player this season in Super League, and has put in a performance whenever he's been called upon. For me, that's why I picked those 4 players.
Yeah, no, I agree. Do you know what? Decent bench that, I have to say. Steph, who have you got on your bench?
I've gone Artem Org.
Quality.
Sam Lissoni.
Right.
For
impact him as well.
Impact
looked him as well, yeah.
Cam Smith.
Yeah.
Sam Hewitt.
Yeah.
And I put Jared O'Connor as my 18th man.
No, we didn't do 18, mate. He's cheating. He always does one, doesn't he? He always throws one in.
We get an 18th man. That's just
unbelievable. I said 1 to 17, and there he goes. You know, yeah. Again, we had this earlier in the season where he was taking liberties. Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. Let's go to Joel. Joel's gone Mikel Angeletsky. He's gone James Bentley, who I thought probably one of his better seasons last year. I thought Bentley did well.
Yeah, it's not a bad shout.
Ollie Wilson, wonder who he plays for, and Sam Lazzone. Don't get me wrong, I think Ollie Wilson's got potential. Don't get me wrong, and Sam Lazzone. My bench, Liam Horn. I think Liam Horn had a great season for Casford Tigers. I'm not gone Lazzone. I've gone punching power, but a man who doesn't get sent off an awful lot. A man who doesn't get sent off an awful lot, makes you the meters, massive impact, Chris Satai. He's the man for me. Of the 2, if I was going to rely on somebody off the bench to one do the tough stuff, but to stay on and not cause me a problem, it will be Chris. Cameron Smith, for his versatility. You know, you could play Cam across any of the back line, and if Brody or Jordan Abdul went down, could easily slot in at 6. And Julian Busquets, from Catalan as well, who again had a really, really solid season. So in the interest, now is the time. If you've got questions, get them in the chat. We will answer them. But whilst you're doing that, so those people who said hold them, cut and paste them, bang them in now. Now's the time to do it. If you've got a question for the panel, we will answer them for this latter part of the show.
There was a question about who would we have coaching that team.
Yeah, well, Alex has answered that. We'll leave it there.
No, I mean a Super League coach.
Oh yeah. Well, go on then, Greg. Sam Burgess, take it.
No,
it's got to be a bottom 6 one, hasn't it?
Tony Smith.
Off the bottom 6, right? Okay.
I'd go Tony Smith. He's out of work.
Smith.
Give him a job. Okay. Great man, great guy. Love Tony Smith to death. I give Tony Smith that job.
Who'd you go, Steph?
I'm going Lingard.
Okay, you're going to go Craig. I'm going to go. I mean, we know that Joel will pick Luke Robinson, based on his side. I'm going to go Mike Eccles.
Oh yeah, I should have said that, shouldn't I?
Well, Mike Eccles.
If
Mike Eccles can do what he did. If Mike Eccles can do what he did with that London team, imagine him leading my Warriors. So, right, Greg, let's go 1 to 17. So we'll do the 1 to 17s. Greg, read out your 1 to 17.
Miller, Swift, Masters, Innis Senior, Hanley, Croft, Leyland, SASA, Ackers, Kennedy, Lavelle, Martin, Smith, and then Busquets, Horn, Garcia, El Zakim.
Superb. Joel's is Josh Rourke, Adam Swift, Essen Masters, Harry Newman, Ash Handley, Brodie Croft, James Meadows, Herman SASA, Paul McShane, George Lawler, Jack Murchie, Sam Hewitt, Leroy Cudjoe, Mikola Jaletsky, the Huddersfield Water Carrier, James Bentley, the Huddersfield Physio, Ollie Wilson, and Sam Lazzone is Joel's. Steph.
Careful, mate. He'll hunt you down.
I know he will. I'm seeing him next week. He'll love it. Go on, mate.
Mine was Rourke at fullback,
Yeah.
Swift on the wing, with Hanley on the other wing, Newman, Masters, centres, Lolly here and Croft in the halves, SASA, Horn and Butler front rows, Sims, Martin second rows, Garcia 13, and then on the bench, Arthur Morg, Sam Lassoni, Cam Smith, Sam Hewitt, and Jared O'Connor, 18th man.
Fair enough. And mine is Josh Rourke at fullback, Adam Swift and Hanley on the wings, centres, Masters, and Reece Martin, a little cheeky one there. Brodie Croft, Jordan Abdul with a 68.75% win ratio for the Catalan Dragons. Like Herman SASA and Mike McMeekin as props. Andy Ackers at hooker, Mellor and Hewitt in the second row. Ben Gange. Nobody's put us a question in the car. You give people a stare.
Come on, guys, let's have some questions.
Right. Whilst people are thinking about typing the questions in the chat, it's time now to reveal who will be joining us at the Kevin Sinfield audience with Barry McDermott on stage at the Park Hall in Warrington. Looking forward to this next Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. A couple of beers probably beforehand as well. Fantastic stuff. Right, so without further ado, let's go to the Wheel of Fortune and let's see who is going to be joining the Super League Raw gang at this one. Here we go. Let's go. Time to find out who is going to be coming to an audience with Kevin Sinfield with the Super League Raw team. Here we go. Let's get it spinning. Is your name going to come up? Yes, the members have been locked and loaded in. We've got them. And also, of course, we've got a few non-members that took the instruction well. The 13th of November, Park Hall, Warrington, 7:30 start. Barry McDermott will be the interviewer, and the person that will be coming with us is going to be, is it Ryan? Is it Paul? It's Chris Valentine. It's Chris Valentine. Chris Valentine, well done. Many, many congratulations. You have won the pair of tickets to join Super League Raw at it's an audience with Kevin Sinfield. Our deepest congratulations to you. Fantastic. Well, there you go. It's Chris. So Chris Valentine will be joining the Super League Raw team. Well done to Chris. He's going to be joining us at the Park Hall on Wednesday, 7:30. Chris, drop me a line. But yeah, well done to Chris. More competitions coming, of course, next year. Make sure that you're with us. Right, we've now got a couple in the chat that we can talk about. Before we do that, just another little announcement. Of course, let's remind you, the best stocking filler of 2024, ladies and gentlemen, is being launched tomorrow. Very similar to Top Trump, Super League Superstars. 32 cards in each set. Only £9 plus £3 postage and packaging for one set. But if you want all three sets, that's 96 players, 96 interchangeable players. You can play as a massive family on Christmas Day with those. Then it's £25 plus £3 postage and packaging. Members, give me a message on Patreon in terms of what you would require. And anybody who is not a member, then by all means, drop us a line at Super League Raw 21, Super League Raw 21 at gmail.com. Drop us a line at that email address and we will take it from there. They will be a great addition to any Christmas table this coming December. Right, boys, let's get into the chat. What have we got? Let's have a quick look. Here we go.
John Wilkinson's question about the Challenge Cup.
Let's go there first. So here's John's question. What do you think about the Challenge Cup starting in February for the Super League teams playing away from home? Greg?
I was hoping you wouldn't start with me first. I don't really know, to be honest. Well, I think it's a case of suck it and see. I've always been a traditionalist in that the top flight rugby league teams always came in at round 4. when it was before Super League, and then the summer rugby season kind of threw everything out of kilter, and then we got Super League teams coming at round 5, round 6. I think possibly it's a decent idea in theory that we don't have teams who from lower divisions who are doing well to get through, and then they get through to another round, and all of a sudden they're away to a Super League side, and that's their cup journey over with. So let's see what happens. In theory, it could be the solution to something that's a bit of a sticky issue. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know what Steph thinks about that.
I'm not so sure it's a good idea. In terms of the bit I don't like is that they're playing at home, whereas I think from a player's perspective, and also for some of the fans as well, like to get the opportunity to play at the Brick Community Stadium against Wigan, the attendance is probably going to be far higher at Wigan, just because the home fans will go because they've missed the rugby. Whereas, how many realistically are Batley going to get on versus Wigan? I don't think it's going to be anywhere close, is it? So I don't see what.
Yeah, right.
The home advantage thing isn't about them winning because they're not going to win, are they?
Yeah, it's about money.
Yeah. So I don't.
Yeah.
I don't see how they're going to generate more revenue from it. I might be wrong, but
no. Well, I mean, look.
I know, Steph, I'm with you. It's a difficult one.
Yeah,
yeah. To me, I'd love to see some sort of, and it's probably logistically impossible, but some sort of round robin competition in the early stages, a group stage like the Champions League. I think Steph, we talked about this, I think, last season rather than this season. You talked about something similar whereby there's a kind of a round robin where there's 6 groups and the top 6 of Super League qualify seeded number 1 in the 6 groups, and then the bottom 6 are second seeds. And again, that gives another extra added incentive to you finishing the top 6. And then the rest is like qualifying rounds for you to get into those group stages. And then, it's the top 2, and then the 2 best qualifiers go to the quarterfinals. I think that would, increase revenue for lower league sides as well. I just think it needs a total revamp, the whole competition, because unfortunately, as a consequence of Summer Rugby League, the Challenge Cup has suffered because of it. And when the Challenge Cup was the end of the season, it happened a week or 2 weeks after the champions had been crowned to finish top of the league. We went to Wembley. It was a massive occasion. The grand final is eaten into that. Magic Weekend is eaten into that. The kind of attendances at Wembley. Las Vegas elite into that next season, no matter who gets there. So I think a radical rethink is needed of the competition to allow the lower league teams to get some sort of benefit, some sort of revenue out of it. Now, I know a lot of people might not agree with this, but it's kind of revamp the Champions League in a certain way, in that like teams from Greece and Scandinavian countries and whatever get guaranteed 6 games to get revenue in. You might disagree with you might disagree with it, but
you can't do that because we're already playing too much as it is.
But are we? Then we get rid of loot fixtures. We get rid of Magic Weekend.
Well,
I think people are getting sick of loop fixtures. Now, Wigan, Warrington, Wigan Saints, Leeds, and whoever, Leeds Wigan was an event when you played twice a season. We played Saints 4 times last season.
Yeah.
And the gloss is taken away from it a little bit.
Well, look,
I get it was great because we beat Saints 4 times for the first time.
Yeah, but I get your point. I get your point, but
it's a suggestion.
Yeah, I understand. But what I would say here, we're trying. The magic of the Challenge Cup is gone, and he's never going to come back. I'm just going to say it for lower league players, for lower league teams. It's gone. The gap's too big, and the sooner we accept that, the better. because the thing for me where this is concerned is that, and I take Dawn Kirby's point in the chat that most Super League teams may play the reserves. Dawn, I hope you're right, because I don't know about you, but a man who's a plumber for 5 days a week coming up against Herman SASA, I think it's a health and safety risk. Quite frankly. No, but and I mean that.
Well, no, I'm not laughing. I'm not ridiculing you, Dave. I agree with you.
It's 100%. You know what you're doing here.
That wasn't a laugh ridiculing you, mate. I agree.
You can't put full-time professionals built like SASA. I'm on before he left Lee. Sorry, Steph, I had to bring that up. Varney at Warrington. You can't put young players like some of these teams. They're playing part-time 20-year-olds. They haven't even developed. I mean, at least the likes of, Eckersley and the likes at 20. They're in a gym at Wigan. They're getting given the best possible nourishment, nutrition, and advice that can be given. They're given a fighting chance. These lads that are playing at lower league levels, they're not getting any of that. Getting none of that.
And yet, Dave, I remember Warrington get drawn against Wolverhampton Rovers in the Cup, and Warrington put a full team out, and Wolverhampton Rovers for 60 minutes were competitive.
Different times, man.
Well, it might be different times, mate, but we need to revamp the Challenge Cup. The question's been asked. Is it a good idea? Well, if it revamps the Challenge Cup, then yes, it's a great idea. But we need to rethink. Australia doesn't have a Challenge Cup, and I would hate for our country to lose the Challenge Cup, to have that day at Wembley. But the longer we go without Wembley selling out, the longer the eyes of the powers that be are going to look at that and think, is it worth it?
Well, the Rugby Football League will never drop the. Only Super League would have an issue, or the NRL would have an issue.
Well, this is it. If the NRL comes in, will they look at that and think, well, we don't have it in Australia. What's the point?
Yeah, well, they've always watched it, so they do know the magic of the challenge.
Yeah. It's a moot point, mate. It's a moot point, and it's all opinions. It's all opinions.
26th of November, Rebecca Frey. The fixtures are coming out, so there you go. How are we doing? We've probably got chance for one more, so we'll go to Aidan Simpson.
My mate.
Discuss Harry Newman in an England shirt. There's a lot better options: Sam Wood, Eckersley, and even Jake Connor if he plays well next season. Also, Ash Handley can play centre or wing. Oh, that's a bit cutting from Aidan, I think. Don't get me wrong, I think Sam Wood's got a bit about him. Eckersley's going to be a great player. Jake Connor, for me, this shootout between Newman and Connor at centre, and all I'm picking. It certainly ain't Connor. Thoughts on that one, Steph?
I'd still go with Newman at the moment. I think the only people that get above Newman for me are it's Wardle. If he was available, Newman wouldn't be getting in that side at the weekend. But I do think Newman has got the potential. I think there's a very good player in there, and I don't think he had a bad series at all against Samoa. I think the comments about him needing to pass more are very valid, but he has got that little bit of X factor about him as well. For me, I don't think he's a bad player at all. And to be fair, if you're getting called up to the Great Britain side, you're not a bad player.
No.
So yeah, I think. What people forget as well is that the turnaround of coaching at Leeds that they have at the moment. Hopefully, if they can get a settled coach, I think that they'll bring the best out in Newman. But that's I think what the disrupting factor is. It's a bit like having a father figure at home kind of thing. He needs that there at Leeds, and I think he needs that arm round him kind of mentality from a coaching perspective. And I think if he gets that, he could turn out to be a really good player. But at the moment, I think it's Wardle and Farmer for me in the centres for England.
Yeah, I think for me, Harry Newman, he just needs to concentrate on his own game. Not necessarily England. I think England at this moment in time, he's minimum third in the pecking order. That's where I see it. Farmer's the best centre in the world, and Wardle's class. Simple as that. I think Newman's just got to concentrate on his club form. I think he's got to.
Yeah, I agree.
on being the best version of himself. And if England call-ups come off the back of that, so
yeah, I mean, I think Aidan's been a bit remiss there not mentioning this senior. But yeah, Wardle all day long. But you know, Newman as a backup to Wardle is not a bad option.
no.
Not a bad option.
Right. Okay, look, we're going to have to call it there. We'll get to your questions again next week. That's been another fun-filled, packed show. Really hope you've enjoyed it this Tuesday. Just a couple of reminders. Yes, the membership is open. Do the QR code. Come and join this community. We have got Super League Raw Live coming at the Bluebell on the 21st of January. Tickets on sale now. Already have been announced is Earl Crabtree. We've got more announcements coming through the winter for that one. It's going to be a great night. So the Bluebell Live, Super League Raw Weekly Live, 21st of January, 2025. Special guests from around Super League will be joining us. We will announce them over the coming weeks. It would be great to have your company in there. And of course, members get 25% off the tickets, which is always nice as well. Tickets are selling for that, which is fantastic. And they are limited, ladies and gentlemen, on a first come, first served basis. Available now is an In Conversation that, like the Derek Beaumont weekly program, has got people talking a really good open and insightful conversation with Aaron Moore, Super League referee. If you haven't seen that, make sure you go over to our YouTube channel. You can catch that. And coming very soon is young Harry Rushton, a man that Earl Crabtree said is a future Huddersfield Giants captain. Members, of course, Team Talk members, you get the opportunity of posing a question to Harry Rushton. Do send them to me via the WhatsApp or directly through Patreon. I will put your questions to Harry Rushton. Of course, you will get to see that a lot well in advance of it going on general release on YouTube. So Harry Rushton is coming next. Massive congratulations again to Craig Valentine, who will be joining us next week at the Par Hall. And don't forget the stocking fillers not to be missed. They're going to be going live tomorrow. Make sure that if you're a member, let me know which ones you want, a set or all three. Remember, interchangeable, 32 in each. You could play with 96 cards. That would be absolutely fantastic. Very similar to Top Trumps. And there's another game that I've thought up of that you can utilize for this. So a little bit of a variety, a couple of different ways of using these cards will be in the box for you to have a go at during your Christmas holiday. So they're all coming your way. It's been a great night, chaps. We'll continue to do these shows. We'll always find something to talk about. We've got more special guests on the way, so keep your eyes out for that. Thanks everybody in the chat who's thanking us for their Tuesday night entertainment. It wouldn't be Tuesday night, would it, without Super League Raw Weekly. Don't forget, if you are in Pool A of the Mastermind competition, you will be getting your invite to be with me on Sunday to do the first set of fixtures. Other members can come and watch if they wish, but it will be recorded and it will go on our members content site on YouTube. So if you want to watch these head-to-heads, you can do at your leisure. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is another Tuesday night. As always, thank you for Joel for sending his 1 to 17. Thank you for Steph for cheating with a 1 to 18. And Greg, as always, thank you as well for your endeavours. We will be back 8 p.m. next Tuesday for more off-season Super League Raw. God only knows what we're going to be talking about. But one thing's for certain, Steph.
Can't be a better weekly.
We'll see you next week, ladies and gentlemen. Bye.
See you later, guys.